Good morning, everyone. We are here at a parking lot somewhere in Makati City, and I am beside these new cars right here. We actually just parked. We literally got here and we saw these and we started shooting. Well, we have a drive ahead of us today, and we have the new Toyota Ativ. I don't even know what it's going to be called yet. We haven't even started the briefing. We were just excited and we started working already. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Later on, we're going to know what Toyota is officially going to call this. We've been talking about it for a while and it's finally here. I'm quite excited because we have different variants available here today. We have the hybrid, the non-hybrids, and we're going to be able to try them out today on the drive to Tagaytay. We're going to check out the fuel economy of each one, and we're going to do a walk around later once we get there. And it's going to be a good day ahead of us, I'm pretty sure. The weather is fine today as well, so quite excited. Anyway, let's head to the briefing first and let's see how this thing goes. Okay, so we did end up with a hybrid variant, and officially it's the Ativ, not Ativ. But forgive me if I keep saying the wrong thing throughout this video because nasanay kami na Ativ eh. So Ativ, tomato, tomato. Anyway, some first impressions here. Throttle feel is excellent. It's a hybrid system now, so it feels smoother off the line. Even though the gasoline engine does feel a bit rough when it starts, but for the most part, it's smoother to drive than the regular Vios from before. And it also feels nicer inside this cabin. Granted, there are still plastic bits all around, hard plastics on the doors. There are some leather bits here. At least wala na yung fake stitchings from before. And you have fully digital displays now. There's a digital instrument cluster with the energy flow feature that we have been seeing from the Toyota hybrids. There's now a big head unit with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The display is quite good. Tapos malaki siya. And I don't know how the sound is. We'll try later. But yeah, and in true Toyota fashion, you have a lot of cup holders here. You still have one on either side and then two in the middle on the center console. Oh no, there's none here. Okay, so wala pala dito sa gitna. I lied. But there are cup holders on the door panels sa likod, which is actually pretty cool. So now we're heading towards the expressway. This is gonna be a good test of NVH. Earlier, road noise was there wasn't a lot of road noise in the city, and we do hear some of the motorcycles beside us, some of the jeepneys, some of the trucks. So noise does seep in through the windows. But now we are 70, let's go up to about 75, 80 kilometers per hour. Some people are asking about road noise on our Facebook post, and off the top of my head, I remember driving the Honda HR-V on PPLX. It was unbearable. It was like I was inside an airplane. I also remember driving the MG3 Hybrid Plus, and it was quite noisy inside that car, especially when it started to rain. But now here in the Ativ, it's actually decent. We're on highway speeds now, and I can still hear myself. I can hear the other people if they try to talk to me, so I think that's fine. It's pretty good. Brake feel right now, I'm entering the toll plazas. Brake feel is excellent. Never doubted the brake system of Toyotas ever, so that's still pretty good. So beside me is Cap Aguila. Cap, what do you think about the passenger seat?
Well, the first thing I noticed was that I'm in a weirdly high position. So one of my cars is a Yaris, a 2017 Yaris, and it sits way lower than this. I don't know how others might feel about that, but it's a little weird probably for me because yeah, I'm sitting kind of high, and I was looking for an adjustment because that was my first reaction. I was like, they probably adjusted it way too high, but there's no adjustment for the height. And I'm a tall person, 5'10", taller than average, and right now I can squeeze my fist just above my head. That's sort of like, I think that should be the maximum already that my head should go. So yeah, I think that shows down that probably this will, if there's one thing I could change about the Ativ is that I will probably install a height adjuster to this seat. So
Legroom is
yeah,
okay,
legroom's
okay, and even with a lot of room in the back to spare, diba?
Yeah. But overall, yeah, I like the, because of course, if you know, when you hear Vios, you really think about, we're talking about how it's sort of like the workhorse, but in sedan form. So I guess you can see that Toyota's tried to sort of make it more upmarket, if you will, not just through the hybrid powertrain, but also through the execution of the cabin. You have various surfaces here and materials. And finally, something soft made its way into the
Actually,
wheels over here. And as Leandro said, there's actual stitching. Yeah, so kudos to Toyota for that one.
now you were saying it's a bit more upmarket now. Actually, we're now on the expressway and I'm using adaptive cruise control. It now has safety sense for the hybrid variant, and usage is very straightforward. It's easy to use. I was just pressing the wrong buttons earlier. I don't know if that was on camera. I was a bit confused, but yeah, it's quite easy to use, and steering feel on the expressway is amazing. It got a bit heavier, and it's great. It feels great. It feels quite great, and everything is in a full use right now, even with lane keep assist. And I don't feel that anything's too intrusive, and it doesn't have lane centering, so I don't feel the steering wheel fighting me. But yeah, for the most part, it's a very straightforward system to use. All right, what's it like in the back? Let's check.
So you guys mentioned that you're seated so high, or it feels like it. It really is high. There's clearance of about 6 inches from the floor to the bottom part of the seat, and it's so high that rear seat passengers cannot see anything in the front unless you're seated in the middle seat. There's also the headrests here at the back are fixed. See, so you can't adjust it. Other than that, actually, okay naman siya. There's this cup holder that they mentioned earlier, so you can fit your drink there. I'm just not sure how big a tumbler you can put. There are also rear AC vents. And then later, we will try to check the tire pressure when we make a stop at the fuel station. Because when we were exiting Eco Plaza earlier, it felt stiff when we hit the curb. So we're gonna see if the tire pressures are already properly calibrated or straight from the barko tong hangin nito.
Quick fuel eco check. We are now on SDEX just past Mamplasan, and we are averaging 22.9 kilometers per liter. That's with 3 people on board, some cargo in the back, and probably average 80, 90 kph. Ayan, tumataas pa to 23. Eager to see how this will hold up going up to Tagaytay. And actually quite curious kung kamusta siya sa heavy traffic. Yun nga, unfortunately, we won't be able to try that out today. But still, pretty good results. Pretty good results. So we're now at Shell Eton and nagpapaayos na kami ng hangin ng gulong. It was at 44 earlier. So the ride's gonna be so much better kasi 33 lang yung recommended. It will affect fuel economy by a bit, but still not that much. From here, it's about a 30-minute drive to Anya, and uphill na kami. I'm gonna be sitting in the back. Same number of people on board, same load, so should yield proper results when we get there. And later on, pag nakapark na kami and we're settled in, we'll give you a proper tour of this inside and out. So till then, mamaya ulit. Okay yun. All right, I'm now in the back seat. Cap is now the one driving, and just some first impressions here. I kind of agree with a lot of what Sheng said earlier. I couldn't see anything with a headrest on, and couldn't see anything on the windshield, and it's frustrating because when I'm in the back, I usually like to peek at what's ahead on the road. Not for anything, probably just what drivers do. Now, moving on to comfort, you saw that we were driving through bumps there. Now the ride is so much better. Like so much better than, and I'm now in the back, which is supposedly a bit worse than how it is in front, but it's so much better now. And it's like, I felt like there was, what do you call this? Lagutok whenever we hit a bump or a speed bump or a pothole or whatever. Now it's not there, and also feels a bit quieter on the road. Now, in terms of space, I also see now what Sheng was pointing out earlier, that the front seat feels too high, but that opens up a bit more room for your feet underneath at least. So I guess there's that. But knee room, as Sheng also mentioned off camera, there's not a lot to work with. I'm about 5'5", 5'6", and she is about 5'5" in front of me with her seat position like to an ideal setting. And there's not a lot to work with here. So probably taller than average Filipinos. If there are two here on one side, it's going to be a difficult fit. Elbow room, just about what you'd expect. This is just about as wide as the old Vios. So three thinner people here would probably be able to fit. But there is a tunnel in the middle, so the fifth passenger might have not such a good time.
Now that I'm looking at it from here, the headrests are so skinny.
Oo nga, no? Ang narrow nila.
Yeah.
Tapos parang pang ulo ng bata.
Ulo ng bata.
So after the switch, we ran into some heavy traffic going up to Tagaytay. And man, that was tiring. But we did get more realistic fuel economy figures. It dropped to about 14 to 15 kilometers per liter. So that's about Metro Manila to Laguna, and then going up to Tagaytay, and then with an hour's worth of heavy traffic, like literally just crawling through traffic. That's medyo realistic, but that's also very impressive. Easily, the gasoline-powered Vios would have dropped to less than 10 kilometers per liter, I'm pretty sure, especially since we just reset the trip meter this morning. Anyway, more about the driving insights later. Let's take a quick tour first. So let's start with the exterior. Clearly, this still looks like a Vios. Like, first look, you'd know it's a Vios, but the Ativ looks much more macho, much sportier than before. You see, it has a wider grille with this sleeker looking front headlamps. It actually looks more like a modern Toyota now, with the look of the Camry, the Corolla Altis. It has that more macho look now, and sporty because look at that bumper. It has sharper edges now and just more angled, chiseled edges here on the front end. And see this one? This is what Toyota calls its vortex generator. I have no idea why it's labeled vortex generator here. Anyway, these are not fake vents. The fake vents are at the back. These are actually functional vents. Anyway, let's move on over to the sides. As you can see, this is quite the weird looking wheel. It's a two-tone alloy wheel. Looks pretty good, but it feels a bit flat. And Shang was pointing this out earlier. Kind of looked like an EV wheel almost. And look at the tire valve. It's over here. It's protruding to the side. It's almost like a motorcycle. And I think that's more for aerodynamics. I'm not really sure. Here at the back, it also looks very much like a Toyota. Very typical Toyota look. But now we can see this gray trim here at the back. And the sporty bumper gets even sportier here at the back. Look at those diffusers. Now these vents though, these are what I was saying earlier, these vortex generators, again, are the fake vents over here. Anyway, let's open the trunk, even if it's a bit messy because we're already here. Still quite a spacious trunk. That's always been a Vios thing. And of course, it has a spare tire, and that's no donut. That's an actual full-size tire. By the way, the Ativ does not have the blue Toyota badge that the other hybrids have. Not sure why Toyota went in that direction, but it still has that HEV badge over here. Anyway, let's head out inside. So first things first, what I want to point out is there's height adjustment for the seat, and there's adjustment for, where the hell is the adjustment? Here you go. Rake and reach, so that's pretty cool because that's a pretty important thing to find the right driving position. Anyway, this feels a lot better than the old Vios. Soft touch materials have finally found its way inside the Vios. Still a lot of hard plastics over here on the sides, but overall feels a bit better. You also have these gloss black panels over here. They're dust and scratch magnets, but still, I'd take it over just plain old hard plastics all around. This one's also bigger, it's higher now, so well, slightly bigger. This is what you can fit here, just about some everyday items over there. But again, I'll take it. You do have a small cubby over here, some more for your wallets, your keys, and there's a wireless charging pad over here, and USB-C and USB-A charging ports. Thankfully, Toyota didn't do away with the buttons and the knobs, so you still have controls for your AC over here. There's automatic climate control here as well, so if you like that feature, well, it's over there. Now, over here, you'll have this new head unit. Not sure how big it is, but it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And the display is crisp and it's very responsive, and you have the option to stick to wired CarPlay, which is a very big bonus for a lot of us. Now, Shang also mentioned this earlier, but off camera. The visors here, you have mirrors, but no illumination for the driver's seat. But over here, you have none. I don't get it. Why would you put it here over there? Anyway, let's check out the compartment. You have still standard glove compartment over here, and cup holders here, just like here on the other side. No cup holders here in the middle. Now, you do have an electronic parking brake now with auto hold function. That's a big upgrade, I guess. And over here on the steering wheel, just a very quick look here. I mentioned this earlier as well. It now has safety sense. So you have controls for your cruise control over here. You have buttons for your infotainment system over here and for your head unit. Now, as for the instrument cluster, there's a lot more to do now here because this is a hybrid. So you have features like that. You have your EV driving ratio. You have your energy flow meter, and you even have this meter over here that shows you the charge, eco, or the power. I think in other models you have the circular gauge, whereas this you have this bar over here at the bottom. Now, this is for your battery charge as well. Unlike in other more premium Toyota hybrids, those are like differentiated by the colors. This one is a lot simpler, but I don't know, I like it that way. It's also easier on the eyes. Of course, you have other controls over here that you can navigate through your steering wheel buttons. And one thing to note though, this does not have tire pressure monitoring, which could have helped us earlier when the tires were overinflated. Anyway, let's talk about space here because I didn't know if I touched upon this earlier. This is set to my preferred driving position, I suppose, and just about the same as before, if not a little bit more cramped. I feel like it's a bit more cramped, probably because the center console is bigger now, it's wider, and I don't know. This is also something they added in the all-new Toyota Ativ. 360-degree cameras with guiding lines and parking sensors. That's a big upgrade. So this is just about the amount of legroom I have here. I also mentioned this earlier, but just to show you, it can feel a bit cramped here for taller passengers because I am about 5'5", 5'6", and I don't have a lot to work with. If you're about 5'8" or taller, good luck. And again, you have space for your feet under the seats because even while this one has seat height adjustment, at the lowest setting, it still leaves a lot of space underneath between the chair and the well, so you do have space over there. And as I mentioned, one of my favorite features over here, it has cup holders here on the sides. Sadly, no center armrest with cup holders in the middle, so I guess that's fine. What else do you have here? You have your AC vents and USB-A charging ports. And overall, I guess it's a much better cabin than before. It looks more premium, it feels more premium, and I guess it is more premium. Not as spacious as I expected, if I'm being honest, but still a lot better than what we had with the Vios before. Now let's talk about the engine options. So there are three available. There's this 1.5-liter hybrid that's available in the top of the line variant. There's also the 1.5 naturally aspirated gasoline engine and the old 1.3 option. They're available in CVTs or in 5-speed manuals. This, however, is not available with a manual, just to be clear. Now, if you're wondering about the old Vios, that's still gonna be sold alongside the Ativ, but it's gonna be right under the base Ativ. It's gonna top out at 906,000 pesos if I'm not mistaken, and those are all 1.3 variants. So if you're looking for a less premium version of this sedan, you still have that as an option. Now for the prices, this one starts at 918,000 pesos and tops out at just under 1.2 million pesos for this hybrid variant. Again, just the top of the line is the HEV, just to be clear. Now, just for some final thoughts about the Ativ, we didn't have a lot of seat time, even if we did get stuck in traffic for a while, but I'm quite excited about this car. I haven't never been a fan of the Vios. I'm one of the biggest Vios haters, if I'm being honest. But now, while it still doesn't like excite me per se, but at least it's no longer like an appliance. I don't see it as just a point A to point B car. It's now a hybrid. It's ready for the future. It's electrified. It's coding exempt if you care really. And lastly, it's very fuel efficient. This is a huge upgrade. And at 1.2 million pesos, people would think, hey, this is a bit expensive, but it goes up against the likes of the BYD Seal 5. It's specifically that. Now, people like the BYD Seal 5, but a lot of people still don't want to buy a Chinese car, and they've been waiting for a subcompact sedan that's electrified, that's a good starter car, that's just more straightforward, no plugins necessary, just gas up and go, and I think this is it. We waited a while for this one, and it's finally here. I want to know what you guys think about the all-new Toyota Ativ, especially this hybrid variant. And I guess we'll see you guys once we finally take this out for a full review. I know you are all excited about it.